You can kind of look at the Air Force as a group of athletes. From that group of athletes, the special tactics operators are the elite ones of that.
Come on in, boss.
Like professional football players, Olympians, any sport professional for that matter.
Top 1%, the elite of the elite.
The highest level athletes in the world. And most SOF in foreign countries are the top athletes or the top combat fighters in their military. So in order for us to compete, we have to be at the top of our game.
Bravo bound.
You're going to be performing at a high level for as long as your body will hold up. And I guess that's the piece that's a little bit different than a professional athlete, because they train up for an event where we have to be at peak performance at all times because we don't know when our event is going to occur.
Of course, the stakes on the sports field fall short in comparison to what happens on the battlefield. But like sports, the lifespan of a special operator depends on how long your body can take the punishment and keep up with the younger guys.
I've had a couple of knee surgeries, an injury to my back and injury to my shoulder. My injuries have been from jumping. Luckily, knock on wood, I haven't been shot. How am I going to get him out? Because whose responsibility is it to bring in find an HLZ?
You.
It's ours. It's combat controller.
3 years ago, Senior Master Sergeant Human would wake up each morning with searing pain all over his body. 14 years of being a combat controller had caught up to this prior Marine and seasoned combat veteran.
Even come here, your body gets beat up a lot because you're always underweight. The lightest you'll ever be is 60 to 80 pounds, right? And you're going to sleep with that weight on. So the fact that you're constantly under that additional weight and that compression on your body for your spine and your joints, it provides quite a wear and tear.
Senior Master Sergeant Human's experience on the battlefield is invaluable, but like him, so many other experienced operators' bodies break down prematurely, given the demands of physical training and tactical missions. That's why the Air Force teamed up with the University of Pittsburgh to solve this problem.
The University of Pittsburgh studies currently elite athletes, and they were interested in taking that model and applying it to the military operations. First, we have to understand who they are. So what is their profile? We're looking at biomechanical variables, musculoskeletal variables, and physiological variables.
The procedures employed for this research are based on the performance optimization model designed and validated over a 20-year period in sports to enhance the performance of professional athletes.
The motion analysis, what we do, is kind of like what is used for CGI or for video game animation, but at a more fine level, so it's more detailed. We put them on specific landmarks, so a certain joint or a certain part of the bone, in order to catch the really, really minute details of movement. And then we analyze that as far as injury risk goes, maybe changing some mechanics of movement, getting better motion that will make the operator move better and have a less risk of injury.
So initially when I was told about this project and initiative, I was kind of a naysayer. I don't want to go be some guinea pig or some test dummy for something.
Well, there's definitely a buy-in factor. I think that when you can explain to the operator that the equipment that we have here is the best equipment for this type of testing.
2, 1, go.
On my last TDY, I got to go to the Olympic training facility to see how they train the Olympians. And a lot of the same stuff is there.
Get there.
Also, there's the competition as well. You may have one guy on your team, that gets a record, and you want to beat that.
With that kind of perspective looking at it, I don't view it as a test dummy anymore. I kind of crave to see where my deficiencies are, and I like trying to figure out, hey, how can I make myself stronger and faster? Because I'm not getting any younger, and I got to still hang with the young guys.
For the operator, it's important for them to understand where they are and where they could improve. And a lot of things that we do in the lab, a lot of things that they do in their human performance training are to make them better in the field.
Being out in the field, opens your eyes a little bit more to what it is that these guys have to go through on a daily basis. We are doing task and demand analysis, which is when we look at the tasks that the operators are doing and figure out the physical demand and the injury risk of those tasks. So we'll have heart rate belts on them. We'll figure out the distance that they traveled, how hard they were working, what their heart rate was.
When I first started, science behind our fitness was the guy who came before you. Like, oh, this works for me, so it'll work for him. But as we've expanded and grown, it's been a tremendous leap in technology.
I think the overall data collection between a 20-year-old and a 45-year-old operator is a huge picture for us, because we have somebody who's been in the career field for a long time, whereas compared to a younger operator, they're still fresh, they're good to go, they're not as injury prone, or they haven't succumbed to so many injuries. So it really gives us a good snapshot of what the career field actually does to the operator over time, especially with the sheer amount of weight that the operators have to carry over long distances. I think it'll show that if you're able to take care of an injury before it gets even worse, you'll be able to have better results and quicker recovery of the operator to increase their career longevity as well as their quality of life.
With the rehabilitation Human has done since entering the program, he has been able to return to the field where he's able to lead once again.
The best place to lead from is the front. So in order to do that, then you have to be in peak physical condition, because you can't really lead from the rear.
Human is definitely a special breed. He loves being out in the field with these guys, and he's been out there. He knows what's difficult, and he's still out there now at, I don't even know how old he is, and keeping up with the young guys. So it's just a testament to how, if you focus on training, you can continue to lengthen your career.
For Sergeant Human, it's always been about finishing his career in the field, leading his airmen. And he doesn't see himself doing that from behind a desk.
Something I always tell them, at least for the guys that I lead, I'd rather go to my grave with the respect of the men that I led than the respect of the leaders that I follow.